Welcome in, Aquarians, to your May monthly tarot reading. So we are going to get some information and guidance for you all to help you on your highest and best path, and also just to help you in general, to support you. So we're going to take a look and see what's going on in May 2025 for you all. So how have you all been doing? How has your Pluto return been? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested, since you're Aquarians, how this Pluto return is treating you. Definitely should be a very transformative period for you. Feeling a lot of stir to maybe even completely change and shift your life in some aspect. Do something new, re-innovate. All right, so we are in Taurus season. That is the season of the bull. So for the monthly themes and reflections, the three terms here are stability, self-worth, and money. So those are very, Taurus energies, Taurus traits. Taurus, like, to enjoy the finer things in life. So there's that money piece, but I kind of see it as like, even like the term luxury. Taurus in particular is a sign that likes, again, luxuries, likes to enjoy things. So, sit on those three terms and kind of see what you're feeling, what are those words bring up in you. Maybe focus on areas in your life where you feel like you could expand or grow in those areas, like stability, like where in your life do you not feel as stable? How do you see, like, what would be more, like, if you could imagine your highest and best kind of version, like, what is stability to you? What do you want to feel, right? Like, how do you want to feel in a stable life? And then, like, with self-worth and money, those kind of go hand in hand, right? Because usually if we have money issues, money constraints, or just in general are not seeing the type of abundance in our life that we really want, which brings us stability as well. Those three things are all tied. It can vary, most of the time it's tied to our self-worth or the belief systems we have about money, about what we're worthy of, about what we can actually receive. Because abundance and money, like all things in life, are about how are we open to receive? What do we believe? Because we're going to manifest what we believe. So look, like when you hear money, does that bring up anxiety? When we think back to our families and our childhoods, like what was the environment around money? Was money really tight? Again, there's some beliefs that our beliefs are usually created by the people around us, our experiences in childhood. So if you constantly are saying, oh, I don't have enough money, or I can't afford that, right away, ding, 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 you have some belief systems that revolve around lack. And those specific things are what is blocking you from bringing in more money or bringing in more abundance. So you need to be able to start truly believing that you are worthy of abundance. You are worthy of experiencing luxuries, that you can have those things. That's another thing. You might say, oh, I'll never have $1 million. That just won't be something that I'll ever experience. Well, why do you say that? Like, why can't you? And just because you can't right now, I mean, again, all we have is right now, but the next moment can be a completely different moment, a week from now, a year from now. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. And if you open yourself up to believing there's potential that tomorrow can be a completely different experience, and who knows what could happen that could open a door, an opportunity, an energy, a miracle for you to actually, for example, have $1 million, you are kind of tapping in to the receptivity of the universe, which is that's our natural energy. That is our natural state. So, and to the universe, a dollar, it has no different worth than $1 million. Like the universe just sees it as, okay, what do you want? And most of us are going to say, well, I want the dollar because I just don't think, to us, like that $1 million, the worth of that and like the intensity of that, we just can't. Again, it gives us anxiety, or it makes us fear, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to open myself up to that because what if I never experiencing that? And then there's that sense of like disappointment. So those are the 3 themes. I started that last month. I'm going to continue that going forward because I think that's been helpful for me. And I've noticed an actual trend as well in the readings for the zodiacs, that those themes do come up in the reading. So it is interesting that we are in, every month we're in a certain sun sign, right? So that energy is going to be really prevalent, especially out, in front of us. And that we do have to like tap into that and use it as potential. Okay, let's get started here. This is a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Aquarians. If you are interested in a private reading with me, I have some availability still, so you can go to my website to schedule a reading, and the URL is below in the description for you. So I wanted to call that out. Let's get started. So May, distant thunder, clear the air. Wise leader, you are a beacon for others. Joy and delight, open your heart to joy. So I'm getting a couple things here. First of all, a message that came in was follow your bliss with the wise leader and delight. And I feel like you have to take the lead and actually follow your bliss instead of neglecting or denying your own bliss. Because like, I almost feel this sense, some of you tend to wait and say, oh, I can't follow my bliss because, either that's selfish, or I have to think of my family or my kids or my partner. And maybe you think, well, if I follow my bliss, that's going to impact them negatively. Or, then again, going back to the selfish thing, there's something about like you needing to always prove that, you're not selfish, and that there's like this martyr. If you've ever heard of it, it's like a martyr personality kind of syndrome where it's actually this thing where, we think of, oh, they're a martyr, like that's a positive, but in reality, that's like a personality trait that actually is negative, because we always feel like we have to be the martyr for everyone. We have to be the martyr. And in reality, what we're doing is we're abandoning ourselves. We're disrespecting ourselves. We're actually doing the opposite to ourselves in the name of doing it for other people. But the true harmony and lessons of this experience in the physical is realizing that if we're doing something to ourselves, so if we are abandoning ourselves, if we're not following our happiness, if we are forsaking our happiness, our safety, our needs for the sake of others, we actually are doing the opposite, even though, it's kind of this mind screw of, well, but I'm helping other people. And that's what, again, in the sake of religion, in the sake of morals or ethics, sometimes we'll think like that. Like, well, no, I need to do good. I need to do good for others. But a lot of people who do that are doing it again, forsaking themselves. So that's something specific you had to hear, Aquarians. Distant thunder. So I almost see this as, in this, for you guys, like in this card, she's kind of looking out the window. It's almost like you're kind of looking forward in the future or something, and there's this sense of like, oh, I see potential issues with this. I feel like there's this could blow up at some point. There's something brewing here, but it's something about you need to address it right now. Don't let it go. There's something about with another person or people where you're kind of like, it's again, you're like doing what other people want, but you kind of have that intuition of like, well, this is maybe what you want, but down the line, I kind of see this not being a good thing or this blowing up, like I said. So I think you need to clear the air. Like, to me, that's more like speaking your truth about this, and kind of taking the lead here. Like, I feel like you tend to maybe give the lead to others recently, or this could be a pattern. This could be in relationships. It could be at work, whatever, family. But there's something about you needing to really take the lead and prove to them like, hey, you know what? I think we need to do, like, I don't think we should do that. And because I also feel like it's not really something that's your, like I said, your happiness or your bliss or something you really want to do, which I think you need to focus on that. And that's been a trend this month in May for people. This is what I'm seeing as a pattern in all the zodiac sign readings is this month is about doing you, is really figuring out like, what do I want? What's good for me? And even if it means maybe it's not what somebody else wants, there's like this radical like truth about doing what's right for you and just trusting. That seems to be a big theme. And there's something too around, another thing is about like the beliefs we have, the deep ingrained beliefs that are really preventing us from having the things we really want. And really facing those belief systems and being aware of them and shifting out of them. Okay, so let's dig into the tarot for Aquarians. Because, you know, with your Pluto return, I mean, you are on the forefront of this Pluto energy of like, Pluto wants to come through, and Pluto is like a leader. Pluto comes through and says, what do we need to demolish? What do we need to rebuild? And then how are we going? And then that Aquarian is great at thinking, how are we going to rebuild this in a way that's innovative, that's new, that works for where we are at right now, not based on the old. So there could be some people that are kind of thinking in an old mentality. And I think you are going to help to bring some awareness to either a situation or a group of people to be like, oh, maybe there's a better way to do this. So we have Two of Pentacles here, Knight of Swords, Page of Swords, Knight of Wands, and the Death card. Okay, there's that Pluto, that Scorpio energy. Yeah, there's this sense of like, well, what do we do here? We're faced with something. What do we do? I think there could be one person or more than one people. These knights, I feel like these knights are they're thinking a little immaturely about this. Knights can be a little selfish, like they want what they want. And they want to just like, you know, they want to be they're kind of almost being impulsive. They want it this way. They want to make this, they want to go down this route, or we should do it this way, where you're like, I don't know. There is a conversation about this, I feel. And then ultimately, I do feel like I want to clarify this Death card, because maybe there's like this, you completely scratch the whole, like, either situation here and you go in a whole new path. Like there's something that needs to end here. It could be the dynamics here, but I feel like people are being this is very impulsive energy. People want to just like do things fast. It's like that person who wants to control things and just be like, let's just do this. Like they want everything fast. They want it right now. And you're the one in the middle, kind of like, you know, and maybe you've let them be the leaders and let them make the decisions, but like you're standing back kind of watching it like, you know, we've already hit some roadblocks or hurdles because of like you needing things to happen right now and not thinking through the impact or the consequences. And something does need to transform. Like these dynamics or this kind of needs to change, basically. So let's see. Let's keep going. This could be you too. So it depends on where you are, Aquarius. Which one are you? Are you the Page of Swords? Are you kind of the one like watching like, I don't know about this? Or are you these knights who has this pattern of needing to control, and you tend to just make fast decisions and you're like, let's just get it done. You know, and this could also be, if you are in that situation, it could be you finally kind of getting some new perspective about yourself and approaching things in a new way. Okay. So we have the Five of Swords, definitely. So there is someone here, like I said, it could be you, or it could be someone you're connected with who has a control issue. Major control issue. Six of Pentacles, yes. And there's an imbalance here. It creates this imbalance because they want to control, they want to make the decisions, they want what they want. And in reality, you end up just kind of being in the background, like just going along with it, but you're not getting what you want most of the time, right? And you're kind of getting the short end of the stick. Six of Wands. I want to get some more cards first before I read that one. So yeah, Queen of Wands. This could be a female around you who's very confident, knows what she wants, but again, her approach is this like controlling, you know, it's got to be my way or the highway. And maybe you've noticed too, you've kind of over time seen there's this side that's kind of fiery, right? There could be anger when she doesn't get what she wants type of person and lashes out. So there's this sense of like you, again, tend to let this person lead and get what they want because you just don't want to deal with it. But I feel like this is maybe a new dynamic that's popped up where you're like, oh, this could have recently created some conflict, or this is going to happen in May. It hasn't happened yet, but there's going to be some conflict. Like, again, in this deck, they're kind of in this tug of war of like, who's going to get their way? I want this, they want that. Definitely a conflict of wants or opinions here. Eight of Swords. Yeah, it's leaving you in this like standstill. This stuck, like, you know what, we're kind of, right now, no one seems to have the bigger strength to kind of, you know, win the tug of war here. So it's like you're kind of stuck in this limbo, but it seems to be this constant pattern here. It's like stuck in the pattern. And like one person can't get out of this. This is like, usually people who have this type of dynamic or personality traits or that control, it's because they're always in their head and they don't know how to get out of their head. Yeah, Two of Swords. There's a lot of swords here. Very blocked. And for some reason I'm hearing like stonewalling. Like they are stone, like they are blocked. They are not moving. They are not shifting. They are not changing. Strength. Four of Swords. So no matter, again, how this this resonates for you, there's this sense of this month is learning to have more courage and strength to either, if you're like, oh, that's totally me, there's this again, like this pattern has to shift. And there's this awareness, and it's going to take courage for you to get out of your head, face your fears, face the root of why you always need to control. If you're on the other side and this is someone you're dealing with, you're going to have to also gain some confidence to stand up to this person. Because there's definitely some healing that needs to take place, some repair for things to move forward in a new way. There's a bit of ego energy here. It's almost like, again, somebody wants to always win the battle. Like they have to come out ahead, be the victor. Again, it's this dynamic that keeps them in their head. That's their pattern. But this is like healing this. So what's the Death card about? The Hermit. Yeah, this is like a major, like, enlightenment about this, and like a huge transformation here. So something has to go. It's either something has to end or something has to go through a major transformation, because this is blocking you, Aquarians, from your joy and delight and really being able to experience fully a balanced, joyous life in general. There could be some with the two blindfolds here. I just noticed maybe you were blindsided, like maybe this is something that you were kind of blind to for a long time, and this is like something new that's really opening up, that you're starting to see. I'm going to clarify here with a different deck a couple things. So let's talk to this Queen of Wands. What say you, Queen of Wands? Ace of Wands. Lots of fire energy. Yeah, more. Page of Wands. Yeah, there's this like a new beginning here. There has to be new ideas. There has to be a new approach. There could also be, this is coming up for a small few of you, if this is a relationship and there's some discussion about having kids and this person wants to control and be like, I want this now type of energy. There could be something about fertility here, but in this like passion, like they're going to get what they want. Like they are always fueled by this fire that's like, I'm going to get what I want. And I feel like this, again, there's something like these things are popping up, these things that you didn't see in the beginning maybe. So for some of you, it could be around kids, and there's a conflict of like, someone's like, I want them right now. And you're like, I don't think this is a good time. Let's wait for the future at some point. And they're like, no. But yeah, it's just like somebody is just, man, they are flaming with passion about something here. There is a lot of passion here about a situation. Someone's trying to control. There could be just, again, this battle of control here. It's creating conflict. And there's this need to, because in the Strength card, you see the feminine and then the lion. There's this need to kind of balance yourself, balance the strength and power of that masculine. And maybe this person tends to always lead very masculine, but there's this need to like feminize that and kind of soften and like realize there's a balance here of, this is what's creating the conflict. But going back to the Hermit here in the Death card, like maybe you've really become enlightened to something and realizing that something has to majorly change. But this is about spiritual expansion. It's almost, to me, I'm getting like, this needs to be addressed right now. Like, don't wait for this. Like, don't keep going in this dynamic too long, because I feel like you have to nip it in the butt now. Because it's going to get harder to get out of it if you wait, if you allow this to keep going for a long time, as all the cards fly. So what's the conflict here about? This, it's more around this Five of Swords. Yeah, this control and this conflict. King of Wands. Ooh, yes, there's a dynamic here. The Lovers. This is about a decision. There's like a choice. There's some decision. Like I said earlier, there's this like, what do we do? And both of you are pretty passionate about how to move forward. Okay, these are two strong. Yeah, the King and Queen of Wands. I mean, that's kind of a match, but yet if you have if you're trying to figure out and make a decision on how to move forward, these two together, like if they're different views, that's going to get hard to try and get on the same page, even though these two are the perfect match in a lot of ways. But there's a lot of different dynamics here that are kind of unhealthy going on, which to me then creates, it's going to bring out the worst in these two, the King and Queen of Wands. And the Five of Swords with the King and Queen of Wands, well, mainly that came out with the Queen. That is like major control. Major control. And she's like, it's my way or the highway. So you're conflicted about a decision. And what's the advice here? Judgment, crossroads. That's like real judgment day. Like, okay, the horns are blaring. Like, this shit has to be dealt with and faced now. Knight of Swords. This could get a little hairy here. There's a definite crossroads here, a decision point. This could get really like an angry conflict. Like there's anger here. But the Fool, like, Seven of Swords. Yeesh. Hanged Man, yeah. I'm almost getting like, for some of you, it's like, was someone hiding something that finally, to me with the Seven of Swords and Judgment, like someone was hiding something and it finally, like, you know, gets, you finally are this aha moment to it, which creates, I would, you know, right? You'd be angry about it. But what's interesting is the Fool is in the mix of here. So I don't know if this means, I'm not seeing like walk away from this situation or this person, but there's definitely this like needing to like, this is pretty, I don't like this energy here, but I like then that the Fool's kind of like, I'm out of here. Like I'm not engaging in this. Okay, so to me, like, maybe someone finally is like, all right, like, this is a hard one here. What's going on, Aquarius? What's the Six of Wands? Five of Wands. So I do feel like you're gonna, the conflict will get resolved here, but I do feel like a lot of stuff that's been kind of, maybe you haven't really been truth. This could also be like just the truth coming out. Like there's some feelings or emotions that you kind of don't talk about or haven't fully expressed. I feel like part of how you're going to get over this is you're going to have to speak the truth. You're going to have to like talk about how you're really, your deep feelings. And maybe it means even like we need to call this out, these dynamics and patterns, because we can't move forward and continue the same sort of patterns. You know, the Seven of Swords can also be about just like, you're hiding something, but not like you're lying, but you're just not telling someone that about like what's going on deep inside, like how you're really feeling about them. So I think this is a lesson of like, again, the dynamic needs to change. These patterns need to change. You know, I don't want to say that, you don't want to just say, I don't want you to just continue to let this person get what they want all the time. And that's what needs to change, because this person, they need to realize like they can't move forward and have successful relationships with this sort of dynamic. So this needs to be faced. Like there's this like facing the music, judgment day of like, and maybe it does have to be like a come to Jesus of like, hey, we're at a crossroads here because like we can't keep going forward like this. So what are we going to do? Okay. And it could bring up this sense of uncertainty for you, maybe if you're the one, you know, kind of saying that to another person. But like there's something about like facing the music right now. What are we going to do? How are we going to move forward? Because we can't move forward in this sort of energy, this environment. All right, Aquarians, interesting. This seems to be kind of a specific situation, but it could be, you know, showing up for you in different ways. This is leaning more on a relationship dynamic here. So Aquarians, be the wise leader. I'm saying like you need to you need to approach this in a way that you, like that's a leader, right? You want people to follow you. You want to be the example here, not the fall into the same sort of approach as this other person. So doing it with love, compassion, but also being strong in your stance. So they know that you mean business and that you're not just like, oh, you know, he'll get over this tomorrow or she will. And then, you know, things will continue. Because I do feel like this person will potentially try to manipulate the situation to continue to get, because people like that, their fear is so deep about like not having control that, you know, a lot of these people don't know they're doing it. They're not like very conscious, like, oh, I'm a manipulator and I'm like, they're not evil like that. This is coming from a person who has a deep rooted fear of like, if I don't control things, like they're afraid of things just going out of control, or like, you know, they're going to get hurt. And it's like, so that root is so deep that like, they have to preserve it's almost like a sense of safety, right? So that part of them is going to do what it takes to try and maintain control and get what they want. Because if they don't get what they want, then they're completely out of control. And if they're out of control, what the hell could happen, right? So anyways, you kind of get the gist of what's going on here. And especially if this resonates, this is all like, oh my God, this is spot on. So I'm going to leave you with that. Again, the guidance here, like I said, is there needs to be that kind of crossroads, like face the music here. And really speak what you're really feeling about this and how you feel about it, how it makes you feel. And like, again, like opening that door to allowing yourself to work through this together, and potentially someone needs to heal and integrate some of these unhealthy dynamic traits. So, all right. Well, you guys have a great month. Definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. And I will see you in the next reading. Bye for now.